By evening, Delhi glitters. By morning, Delhi gasps for air. This is the story of every Diwali in India's capital city. Every year around Diwali, Delhi faces the same debate: to burst or not to burst firecrackers.
दीपावली पटाखे कम जलाने चाहिए.
1000 पटाखे फोड़ बेटा.
And this time, it's reached the Supreme Court again. Last week, the Delhi government said it plans to request a relaxation of the blanket ban on firecrackers. The same ban the top court imposed in December 2024. The government wants to allow what they call green crackers this Diwali. Now, if you live in Delhi, you don't need data to tell you how bad the air gets after Diwali. You've seen it, you've smelled it, you've felt it. So here's the real question. Why do we have this debate every year? I'm your host Lavanya, and in this episode of The Climate Brief, we dive into the science, the law, and the myth around Delhi's firecracker ban. Are firecrackers truly the villain behind Delhi's toxic air in winters, or just the easiest one to blame? Are green crackers actually green? And do bans make Delhi's air any easier to breathe? Let's get the most obvious question out of the way first. Do firecrackers really make Delhi's air worse, or are they just an easy target every year? Because when you look at it on an annual basis, experts say firecrackers contribute a small fraction to Delhi's air pollution. But what happens during those few hours on Diwali night is catastrophic. In 2024, Delhi's air quality index jumped from 278 before Diwali to over 700 just hours after midnight, even 800 and 900 in some areas. PM 2.5 levels touched 600 micrograms per cubic meter. For context, the World Health Organization says anything above 15 is unsafe. India's own standards say anything above 60 is unsafe. Of 38 air quality monitoring stations in Delhi, 9 recorded PM 2.5 levels above the critical threshold of 900 micrograms per cubic meter. Nehru Nagar led with a reading of 994. Anand Vihar followed closely at 992. The next couple of mornings, hospitals across the city saw a surge in emergency visits. Patients struggling with asthma, bronchitis, and throat irritation. Children are particularly vulnerable. Exposure to hazardous air pollution as a child can affect growth and development well into adulthood. It can lead to preterm birth, developmental delays, anemia, lung abnormalities, and severe respiratory infections. And of course, if you live in Delhi, this isn't news. You've seen this year after year after year. In 2021, the air quality turned severe post-Diwali. In 2023, the same thing happened. In fact, some families have started leaving Delhi during Diwali because the air is simply too dangerous. Take the story of Sangeeta Chauhan, a Delhi mother who leaves the city every Diwali. Her son developed asthma as a toddler. Doctors told her plainly, if you stay here during Diwali, he will get sick again. Since then, her family drives out of Delhi every festive season just to escape the smog. So yes, while firecrackers might be a small part of Delhi's pollution pie through the year, on Diwali night, they light the fuse for a full-blown public health emergency. But if the impact is this clear, why has it been so hard to stop it? Let's talk about the law. If you've been with us till now, please consider subscribing. It helps us in bringing you real stories that matter every week. The story of Delhi's firecracker ban didn't start with politicians. It started with 3 toddlers. Back in 2015, 3 children, Arjun Gopal, Zoya Rao, and Arav Bhandari, filed a petition in the Supreme Court through their parents. Their parents argued that firecrackers were polluting the air so badly that their children couldn't breathe properly. They invoked Article 21 of the Constitution, the right to life and health. The message was simple: our kids have a right to clean air. And the Supreme Court listened. In November 2016, the court banned the sale of firecrackers in Delhi, but there were violations almost immediately. By December 2016, people were still buying and bursting crackers. Then, in September 2017, the ban was briefly lifted. The court said the air seemed better, but within a few weeks, the entire stock of firecrackers that had been sitting in warehouses was sold out. The ban came back, but it was too late. Pollution levels dipped slightly in some areas, but the overall air quality still remained severe. Because while fewer crackers were sold legally, thousands more were burned illegally. And here's the thing, these bans were only applied in Delhi. not the rest of the NRC. So people could just drive to Gurgaon or Noida, stock up, and come back. The court realized this wasn't working. So in 2018, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment in the Arjun Gopal case. It lifted the total ban and allowed the sale of low-emission crackers, what are now called green crackers. Now, green crackers were supposed to be the middle ground, a cleaner, safer alternative. They were developed by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, or CSIR NERI, and marketed as firecrackers with 30% less particulate emissions. No lithium, arsenic, or lead, all banned. And they had to carry a special QR code on every box to prove authenticity. So the policy shifted from ban everything to allow safer alternatives. But that didn't last either. Since 2021, there have been intermittent and partial bans on the sale and use of firecrackers in Delhi, mostly around Diwali and the winter season. In some cases, the use of green crackers was allowed. In others, it wasn't. The policy kept flip-flopping. Then, for Diwali 2024, the Delhi Pollution Control Committee, or the DPCC, banned firecrackers from October 14th all the way till January 1st. And finally, in December of 2024, the Delhi government told the Supreme Court it had imposed a complete ban on manufacturing, storing, selling, and bursting all kinds of firecrackers in the national capital throughout the entire year. This included green crackers too. This happened after the top court on November 4th asked the Delhi government to consider a perpetual ban on firecrackers. But wait, there's a twist. In September 2025, the Supreme Court allowed certified manufacturers of green crackers, those approved by NERI and the Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, to produce green crackers in Delhi NCR. But they couldn't sell them in the region. And that brings us to today. As of now, the Delhi government has appealed to the court to relax the ban and allow the sale and use of green crackers during Diwali. But that raises the biggest question of all. What are green crackers? Are they actually green, or is this just clever marketing? Let's find out. Green crackers sound like something you could get behind, right? Cleaner, safer, better for the planet. But here's what we found when we dug a little bit deeper. Green crackers are not really good. They're just less bad. In fact, the term green cracker is a bit of a misnomer. No cracker can really be green or good for the environment or for your health. According to NERI, the institute that developed these, green crackers are improved fireworks or firecrackers. Compared to conventional crackers, they have smaller shell sizes, fewer harmful raw materials, not zero, fewer, and additives that suppress dust. They avoid or substantially reduce certain banned chemicals. And the big claim? They reduce particulate matter emissions by 30%. But that also means that 70% of the harmful emissions are still there. Green crackers still release PM 2.5, PM10, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, all the pollutants that make the air toxic. They're also supposedly quieter, around 110 to 125 decibels, compared to the traditional crackers that can hit 160 or even 200. However, that's still above the WHO limit for festivities of 100 decibels. Each cracker also comes with a QR code that consumers can scan to verify authenticity. In theory, it's a great idea. In practice, not so much. Because most people don't scan QR codes. Many sellers just slap fake green stickers on old stock. That's why environmentalists call green crackers a distraction, a way to make pollution look manageable when it's actually structural. Because Delhi's dirty air doesn't come from one night alone. It comes from stubble burning, vehicles, industries, dust, and unchecked construction. Firecrackers just make all of that visible for a few hours. So where does that leave us? The Delhi government has made its case. The law will take its course. But here is what we do know. This is a choice we can all make. The government can allow green crackers or ban them completely. But ultimately, you decide whether to burst them or not. You can choose how you want to celebrate Diwali. Whether you want to make it the festival of lights or the festival of smoke. The choice is ours and our actions matter. If this story gave you a new perspective on Delhi's Diwali debate, consider subscribing to the Climate Brief. We break down complex climate stories with nuance, data, and honesty. No agenda, just the facts. We will see you next week.